The return of the Jedi, day trader. Is it me or is it somebody else? Now, listen, I know you guys miss me. I get DMs every day wondering, Cam, when are you coming back? Cam, did you retire? Cam, do you still day trade? And the answer is no. I haven't day traded since about November of 2018. So it's been quite a long time, and actually announced my retirement in August of 2019. And now we're in the middle of a fucking end of the world shit with coronavirus. But it actually reminds me of the 2008 financial meltdown when I almost lost my business and I almost lost my fourth trading account. But what happened? There was a huge decline in the market and it created a massive opportunity, just like we're seeing right now. The market's down almost 30% since this COVID-19 shit, which just blew past the decline that we saw in 2008. So this is a huge opportunity for day traders, but I'm not a day trader anymore. But yeah, you guys miss me. I get it. And you guys want the day trading content back. So while I can't say I'm not going to day trade anymore, maybe I will. I see opportunity right now. So problem is I don't even have a trading account. Now I would have to open up a trading account and get back in the game. Not saying I'm going to do that, but there are thoughts of it potentially happening just due to the fact that we're seeing such a massive decline in the market, and it will create opportunity just like I saw in 2009. But until that happens, if it ever does, I don't even have time anymore for it, let alone do I want to trade at 9:30 p.m. out here in Bali. It's fucking miserable. But I can bring you the next best thing, and that is none other than Matthew Sentes, who became part of the Iconic Trading community in 2019 and went through our program. And last year, I believe it was about 6,500. It was maybe 65, 700 Canadian, which was about 5,000 US. And he turned that into about the high 100s of thousands and about $170,000 by the end of 2019. So a massive, massive year. And he just pulled close to 50K in a week. Just the other week, 21K day, followed by an 8K day, a 3K day, and an 8K day. And then Norbert, my videographer, flew out to Vegas and they shot a bunch of content. So he's absolutely crushing it. He's learned everything he has from me and the trading program, and he's also adapted in his own skills. And that's something that every day trader does, is they learn from somebody and then they adapt what they learn into their own skills, because we're all different as human beings, and a lot of trading is mental, and it's what works for you is what's going to work at the end of the day. You can only learn something from somebody so much. You can only learn a system so much, but at the end of the day, a lot of it is mental. So we're going to bring on Matt Sentes over here and do a little podcast and introduce him to the channel, because Matt is going to be the one posting all the content on the channel from now on. I'm not saying I'm not going to post anything ever. I'm not 100% disappearing. I might make some appearances and make some fire content. What if I even placed a trade? Who knows? I don't know. You never know, guys. But anyways, let's get this started with Matthew Sentes, the new head trader at Iconic Traders, and also going to be the head content creator on this channel going forward. I tried to switch niches into entrepreneurship. Nobody gave a shit about it. So guess what? I'm giving it back to the trading team because I know that's what you guys want. So here we go. The first trading piece of content with the new guy, the new face of Iconic Traders, Matthew Sentes. All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome. We got Matthew Sentes in the house out there in Vancouver, Canada. Blame Canada. But anyways, guys, it's obviously, I just kind of gave you a little introduction. Been a crazy long journey for myself, kind of transitioning out and kind of passing on the torch and legacy of everything this, I mean, from technicaltrader.net to Fous alerts to Fous trading, now Iconic Traders, and now kind of passing on the torch to Matt, who's actually just been crushing it. I think, what was it, 6,500 or 7,500 to 165,000 or so in 2019. So absolutely amazing performance and job, especially from starting out so early and being able to find success so early. So first of all, I still don't even know how were you first introduced into the world of day trading, and also how did you even find iconic traders?
So I started in the market like almost 2 years ago, and it was just playing Canadian stocks. And pretty much it was just my buddies that were like had inside information on weed stocks pretty much. And so I was buying and selling and like just plain pure speculation. I never even looked at a chart. And then kind of I saw like just long story short, I saw the end was near just because I kind of understood the economics of it and knowing that like okay, a lot of these companies are completely garbage, so they can't last forever. And then that's what kind of when the end of 2018 was I kind of finished up my partnership of my old job, and I was like, well, I like this investing thing, but obviously I need liquidity. At the same time, I need money coming in every month. I can't sit and wait 3, 4, 5 months or 2, 3, 5 years type of thing. So I just Googled it into YouTube, and you were like the second video that came up. You, Mike, and Rob sitting on the couch in Miami, I think it was, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I watched that whole video, and then I just kind of like immersed myself in the world of Cameron Fous for about 8.5 hours. And I watched all your videos, and I was just like, okay, this guy's legit. And, I did my homework. I looked at, I'm not gonna lie, I looked at the other services that were offered, but like I kept coming back to you because you had been the longest and
Yeah.
like proven track record. Um, and that for me was important. Seeing that you had been, started this like 2007 or 2006, and we're now in 2020, and you just finished this year or in 2019, right? So that's a long stretch, and
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of how it started. And then I remember waking up my girlfriend and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and she pretty much said to me, "Don't ever wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning ever again." But yeah,
West
so
Coast trading, man.
yeah. So I stayed up all night, and then the next day, that's when we had the chat sale going on, and I joined the chat right away. And then I think it took me like 3, 4 days, maybe a week, and then I bought the course. And then I pretty much just immersed myself in the course for 3 months, but I probably did like 9 months of studying in the 3 months, and I started
Yeah.
trading pretty much after I was able to watch The Dark Side of Trading, Fous 3. Um, very small, but that's when I started trading. So I started trading, 3 weeks after. Uh, and then, yes, it kind of just went from there. And I was really quiet at first, to be honest. I didn't really say anything. I just listened and I looked and I learned, and then uh, just immersed myself in it. I spent a lot of time in my office trying to figure out what was going on. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it can be a little confusing at first because while trading is very simple once you understand the fundamentals of how price action works, technical analysis works. And that's basically kind of what we break down in the training program. And also
yeah,
just like you said, I started in 2005 actually. And people ask me like, dude, why you stop? Why you retire? I'm like, man, I've been doing this for 14 years, bro. Like, think you do anything for 14 years, you want to see what else you can do with your life, like, and
yeah,
so, I'm happily passing the torch, but obviously we still run the company. I still own the company, and I still want to help students because trading is a great opportunity, especially for someone like I started when I was 20 years old, and now I'm
yeah,
35. And so, throughout my 20s, it was an amazing opportunity. I dropped out of college my senior year because I started making money day trading and started documenting. I started a trading blog in 2006 to document my experience about what I was doing. And that's kind of how everything started. So, yeah, trading is crazy. I think the biggest benefit of it is the amount of free time you get because, like, we teach you trade 90 minutes and walk the fuck away. I mean, obviously, there's other opportunities, but that's kind of like the sweet spot. So, I want to know, what was it like the first day you traded with a live real money account, like day trading?
Well, I think it was, it wasn't in any of the training, but you had the video of how to deal with like a loss. I think you were actually in Bali or Thailand, and that was like one of the first or second videos I watched. So um, I came in with no expectation, like, and I like for me that was really hard because I'm like, if I set my mind to something, I usually accomplish it. So I came in my first day and I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna lose money here, but um, accept it. And I think,
Yeah.
and from day one, I've had that mentality of like, and I say this all the time now to obviously students is like tomorrow doesn't care about yesterday or today. So like whatever happens today or whatever happened yesterday, it doesn't really fucking matter anymore. So um,
Yeah.
so when in my first day, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna take the outcome with like no bias or no negativity, or even I kind of limited myself to any positivity, and I lost $200 on my first trade. Can't remember what stock it was, to be honest, but I know I lost $20 in probably about 90 seconds, or
Yeah.
$200 in about 90 seconds, and like, don't get me wrong, it spooked me, but I also didn't start with I'm very like open about it. I didn't start with 2,000 or $100 or $1,000, or started with 7,500. That was about almost 5,000 American, but 7,500 Canadian.
Hmm.
So the $200 loss didn't really hurt me that much, but um, what I got from it right away was, wow, I lost that money in 90 seconds. Now, how much money can I make in 90 seconds? And
Yeah.
that was like kind of what hooked me. Like, there's always the there's always the opposite side of there's always a positive in any negative, right? So that's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it is one of the only jobs that you can come to and you can either win money or lose money. So you might go to work and lose money. And
Yeah,
but that's something that a lot of people don't understand. And what I always told people, I said, the sooner that you can accept that losing is normal in this game, the sooner you can succeed. And it's all about managing your risk. Like my career average was about 50-50. I won 50% of the time, I lost 50% of the time. It just all that matters is do you have a better managed risk? So if you
yeah,
say if you had two winning trades for $500 each and you had two losing trades for $100 loss each, then you still came out on top,
yeah,
$800 in
yeah,
profit,
exactly.
even though you had only had a 50% winning ratio. So a lot of people think like, how the hell would you win money if you're losing half the time? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what your win ratio is. You can lose 70% of the time. But as long as you understand risk management and keep your losses short, like I always say, flat or forward. You go into a
yeah,
losing position, like losing money in the stock market is a choice. As soon as you
yeah,
go into a losing position, you have the choice to get out of it. The real only reason why people ever lose is because they choose to let that losing position get into a bigger losing position. And
hundred
so
percent.
it's really just boils down to risk management. And like I said, you can lose 70% of the time, but if you have really good risk management and discipline, you can still come out on top and make bank. Um, with that being said, what's your worst trading day? What's your biggest loss?
March? It was actually just about a year, just over a year ago now. I think it was March 7th or 8th. BPTH, and like it was funny because when I tell this story, the end of February is really when I started to hit my stride. Like we're February, like from middle of January to middle of February, I was like breaking even. Like my account was pretty much staying at right around 5,000 US. Um, and I wasn't going backwards, but I wasn't going forward. And then like the end of February, something just started clicking, and I actually, I know we preach something different, but I actually understood shorting better than I understood how to long stock. And the reason why is like I'm a patient person in general, and I feel with shorting you can be a lot more patient than when you're trying to long a stock. Um, just in my personal opinion. So I started to catch a lot of these shorts over, one by one by one, and then I made, I made 13,000 in like a 10-day period, and then I gave it all back. I gave 10,720 bucks back in one day on
Yeah.
BPTH. And but at the same time, like that's my worst day. But also that was the day that this all clicked for me because um, one, I wasn't the only person to lose a lot of money that day, and two, it just it kind of reiterated my thought process of you know what, I just lost 10,000 or almost $11,000 in one day. How can I make $11,000 in one day?
Yeah.
You know,
K-
and it
It's
was
always the flip side because I think like the quickest money I made, I think I made like 9,000 in like under 5 minutes. And I was like, all right,
yeah,
it's not bad.
yeah. So for me, that was kind of like the like okay, like you know, and then the 3 days after that, trading days, anyways, I made all that money back. So like I just kind of told myself, you know what, up until that day, you were totally fine. And the fact that I just looked around at the carnage that that stock caused on everybody, like there might have been a very small group of people that made money on that stock, but um, it really ravaged everybody because we were all trying to short it, you know. So
Yeah.
um, and you know, it really taught me the danger of a micro float and what they can do to you if you know have at that point if you don't know what you're actually doing, you know. So um, yeah, so that's the worst day. You know, it's like it's an eye-opening day, but it's like from everything you just learn from it and you move on. And you know, like I said, the next three trading days, I had made all that money back. So like my mentality the next day was like, you know what, you were trading really good before this day. These days happen. Learn from it, and then it came. You know, that's really what implemented my risk management and my I call it capital protection or prevention. Um, of okay, you know what, never let leverage work against you in any way. So um, you know, if you're it doesn't whatever your leverage is, but you know, if you have $1,000 capital position and you have $5,000 uh, out, you know, you're 5 to 1, then you cannot lose more than $1,000 because that's your money. Anything more than you're letting, you know, you're kind of letting them take more, right? So that's kind of where I came up with that rule. And then I also came up a little bit more conservative on my initial target profit instead of trying to hold for the macro uh, all day kind of move. So but I can't say I've had really like a day that I never learned anything. I think, you know, especially your first year, you should be learning something every day. So whether it's, you know, a bad experience or a good experience, it's still a learning experience. So that's just the kind of the way I thought about it. And like to be honest, it just coming in at, you know, being almost 30 years old, like when I started 29 years old, I think like obviously me maturity wise, it was a lot easier to handle if than if I was like 22 or 23 years old. Like
Yeah.
so,
You
but
had
yeah, that's
a little bit more money experience.
yeah, you know, that's not the most painful one. The most painful loss was it was a $3,000 loss, but I was sitting there and I'm longing this stock, and then all of a sudden they do an offering pre-market, and I just lost. I literally I was trying, you know, what I mean, I'm hitting the sell button, can't get it, not even filling, and like I lost $3,000 in like 10 seconds. So,
Yeah.
but that was the worst one. That's the worst feeling I ever had. The worst trading day though was definitely BPTH. And you know what? I've never had another blow up since like that. So
Yeah, I've had several pretty rough situations. My biggest loss, I think, was actually $15,000, and it was a little bit more uncontrollable. It was on a swing trade, and I was up $10,000 on it. So I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I had just gotten back from Mexico, and I was like, "Hell yeah, tomorrow! This is like great, feeling good." I wake up the next morning and it's a gapper. They released some bad news about it, so I didn't even have a chance to sell. Just like pre-market, is this the bids were down, and so I think I had like a negative $20,000 swing in my account that day. Where I woke up, my PL was you're down $20,000, but it was also losing $10,000 profit in addition to
yeah,
uh, losing more. So that was brutal, and that took me a while to recover from. I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like that just like hit my soul. another
Yeah.
one, another one was it would have been my biggest trade ever. Um, I was long 100,000 shares of, I don't even remember what stock it was, but it was at it was trading at about $1. So I think it was 100,000 shares. Um, but so I don't know. My roommate like got like a job raise or something, and he wanted to go out and fucking drink. And I'm like, dude, I got like that's the biggest position I've ever had right now. Like I can't go out. I got to wake up in the morning. And so Rob was actually in town as well, I think. And yeah, Bob was in town, so he was staying at my house. And so we go out to dinner, go to drink. Next thing you know, we're taking shots. Next thing you know, we're fucking at the strip club till fucking 3 in the morning. And I sleep in through the fucking pre-market. I sleep in about an hour into the open. And pre-market, this stock was up like 80 or 90%. I was up like 60 to $80,000 on this stock if I had been awake to sell it for a profit. But I was fucking shit faced at a strip club, hungover, not awake, didn't wake up to my alarm. I ended up selling this stock for a loss.
Oh man.
It was pre-market. I was up like I think 60 to $80,000. It fucking then comes down by the time I wake up. It opens up. I would have been up like $40,000 at the open. I'm still sleeping. It continues to slide to the point where I'm just like now in a negative position. I sell it for like a $2,000 loss.
Oh man.
That was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
All because my fucking roommate wanted to go celebrate his shitty job raise.
Man. Yeah. No, that'd be a tough one to swallow for sure.
Yeah, no, it fucked me up for months.
So I think in my whole career I've only held 3 positions overnight.
Yeah,
I just don't do it. I think it's not me,
stress.
Yeah, you know what? You kind of grew up swing trading, or you came in this swing trading mostly, right? So it's like, and
Yeah,
that's
it
what
was
I
a
liked about the course the most was like you get to see the evolution of trading, not necessarily the evolution of Fous. You know what I mean? Like you've
yeah,
you've kind of like documented the whole journey of trading in the last 15 years. Where when you came in, swing trading was kind of the thing. And then it went to like, oh, now we're gonna day trade, and then it went from like, well, you know what, we're gonna short sell, and like kind of like the cycle of trading itself. So, um, yeah, it's just every time the 3 times I've done it, I made money once and I lost money twice. So, for me to actually do it, it's very I have to be very confident, and it just doesn't come around that much for me to do it. But
yeah. I mean,
also,
the market has completely changed since then. Like I said, I started trading in 2005. Swing trading, like I was hitting 30 to 60% swings like every week. It was like just okay. This is how you fucking trade. You make 30 to 60% on each trade, and this was like 2005 to 2008 up until the
yeah,
market crash. And once the market crashed, that was like okay, to hold overnight is a huge fucking risk because the Dow
yeah,
futures are swinging up and down 1,000 points every day. And so that
yeah,
was kind of when, like you said, it was Fous 4, 1, 2, and 3 is all an evolutionary process of, okay, the fundamentals of each one of these programs are still there, but
hmm,
now you have these skill sets from all these different or so per se eras of trading that are still fundamentally there. It just depends on what the current market condition is and how can you implement those tactics into whatever today's market is doing.
hmm,
So, but yeah, swing trading, I would say is definitely it's not the same as it was in 2005. That's for fucking sure. Uh,
yeah.
but the principles are still there.
Yeah, it's funny because people ask me, "Oh, it's like is this course outdated?" And I was like, "Well, no, because it doesn't matter if you're swing trading, day trading. The philosophy is the same. You're looking for the same patterns. You're just looking for them on different time frames. You know, and like
Yeah.
that's what people don't understand. And the one thing I really focused on was not, when you lay out the course, you lay it out so simplistic. And then the biggest mistake I see people do when they come out of the course, and like this was just my observation, even before I started to like, make videos and like give my 2 cents in the chat room, was everybody made it really complicated. and I kind of thought to myself, like, well, like, he's not making it complicated. Why is everybody else like? And that's probably the over trading and over complication are the two biggest things that new traders do wrong. When it's purely just like you're looking for history to repeat itself, and then when you find it, you you trade based off the history. You
Yeah.
know, um, and that's what's and that's what I really focused on. Even to this day, I feel like I'm a very simplistic trader. I don't try to get too fancy with stuff. Yeah, if I get stopped out, and I just take it on the chin, and if I make money, great. So but I don't try to overthink it, and that's like a big thing. I think a lot of guys do is they come in, they're too excited to trade, and two, they take everything they learn and then they add so much more to it that they've learned from this guy or this indicator or that indicator, and then they totally just throw what they learn out the window at first, and then that's where, like, when I had Mike would reel us back in, and he was really good at that. And then I do the exact same thing. I say, hey, listen, like, did you learn how to do this in our course? No. Then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's crazy. And to be honest, I still watch the videos. If there's something I'm struggling with, I'll go back and, like, I pretty much know them off my heart now. Like, I can almost pinpoint somebody if they ask me where a certain thing is in the course. I can be like, oh, like, it's in Fous 2, blah blah blah, this far in, um, because they will. You can go relate to them and figure out kind of what you're missing, or a certain piece of the puzzle that's not working in the right place. So um, yeah, they're a great knowledge base to this
Yeah.
day for me. So
Speaking of that, and I always tell people trading is actually extremely simple. Like, yes, we have a completely built out infrastructure and system of how to trade. You're literally trading a system.
yeah,
And understanding the system is not complicated at all. I break it down very simply. It's like memorizing flashcards. That's it. It's like,
yeah,
can you memorize flashcards? Look at it over and over again so you know it. That's not hard. It's like literally like grade level shit to understand. Like, we don't do anything with fundamentals. It's just price action, volume, chart patterns, float, understanding the principles and systems of trading. The most difficult part, which I also want to ask you as well, is your character and your discipline. How can you handle it? Because being able to know, like, okay, I should buy here, I probably should sell there, but can you have the discipline to actually do that in the
do
heat
it.
of the
Yeah,
moment of trading? And so that all boils down to your character, who you are as a person. How do you live your life? Are you disciplined? So what do you think for you personally are the biggest personal traits and characteristics of your mindset and who you are as a person? And also, what was like your aha moment that kind of led to, like, okay, I understand the system, but now I can actually follow this? Because that was my biggest problem. My first 3 years of trading, I knew what I needed to do, but I kept losing money for 3 years. And it
hmm,
wasn't until I had that aha moment that I needed to stop focusing on, okay, I understand these charts so freaking well. It's like, fuck the charts. Why can't you
yeah,
click buy and sell when you actually need to, when you're supposed
yeah,
to? So
yeah.
what are your biggest characteristics and what was your aha moment?
So I'm actually, like, really conservative by nature, like over conservative sometimes. So I created, like, a lot of people have seen the video, but it's the 60-40 rule. So I take 60% of my profit at a very conservative profit target for my initial profit target, and then I become more aggressive as I go along with the 40%. And my aha moment was kind of when I created that rule, because uh, once I created that rule for myself, I just started, like, ding, 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 because
It's
what
guaranteed
I
profits.
yeah, what I found was, like, okay, you know what? And the other thing too is people are like, oh, when did you start to scale up? Well, I just scaled up as I grew my account. You know, at the very beginning, I would risk up to 10% capital position, and then as I kind of like, because the magic number I find is 15,000. If you can get your account to 15,000 and build your account to 15,000, not just throw 15,000 in your account, but you can actually build your account to 15,000. 15,000 changes a lot when you're on 5 or 6 to 1 margin. It gives you a ton of buying power, you know. And so but you need to also be conservative with the buying power, because if you're going to use it, then you need to make sure that you're letting it work for you. And so once I started doing that and taking my 60%, what I, you know, because I went to school for accounting and economics, so it just became an equation for me. It was like, okay, if a stock moves 20 cents to the upside and I lock in 60% profit, now that stock needs to go 30 cents, well, 50 cents the opposite way for me to lose money, but 30 cents below my entry point for me to lose any money, with the 40% remaining. So, and then I just said to myself, my stop loss automatically becomes my entry point as soon as I lock in that 60%. And then as I move up, if the stock continues to go up, I usually like to lock in another 10%, you know, at a semi-conservative level. And then I just get aggressive with the last 30%, you know, and try to tick it out. Just try to get, you know, I don't try to top tick. I don't really care about that. But, you know, I've had one trade where my last 10% made more than my 60%.
Yeah.
Which was
patience.
Yeah. And it gives you extreme flexibility. So once I created that rule for myself, and like, I didn't read it anywhere, I didn't look at it anywhere, it wasn't something that I saw on YouTube. I literally was just sitting there doing math one day, going, okay, like, what statistically is my best chance of making money 3 to 4 times a week when I'm trading? And how am I able to do this? And when I came up with that rule, it just made more sense, because the swing that you need, you know, the opposite protecting yourself to the downside or the upside, whether you're short or long, is the most crucial thing. So, being conservative and then scaling your aggression, I guess, as you scale out was kind of like, and that's kind of when I just hit the ground running. You know, middle of May was all the way till like September. I just went on a savage tear, and you know, and that's in summer when liquidity is not as high, and you know, and like everybody's trying to short these stocks. I'm literally just throwing charts out where I'm longing into areas everybody's shorting, and you know, and people are like, "What's your strategy?" And I said to myself, and I said to everybody, I look at everybody's charts every day, as many charts as I can see, you know, on Instagram, in our chat room. And I am in some of the other chat rooms just to like kind of know what everybody's doing. And everybody's shorting at these same levels. And I start to think to myself, like, well, these levels, when I see these stocks are 30, 50, 60, 70, $1 above where I initially see it.
Yeah.
So, you know, do you want to be the sheep or the shepherd? And I just decided to be the shepherd.
Oh, so. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And just this last week or maybe 2 weeks ago when Norbert was out there, you're freaking absolutely crushing. I think you had your biggest trade ever.
It was actually the day Norbert came on Wednesday, and it was the Friday before. And then I followed it up with an $8,000 day. And then I think Norbert came over, and when the day that Norbert got here, I did another 8,000, and then when we came home from Vegas, I did 11,000.
So. But what was the big trade before all that?
APT. So it was actually funny because the Thursday I got kind of like, I had a little anxiety with it, and because it was kind of reminding me of BPTH all over again. I'm trying to short these at levels, and you know, and the stock, I don't even know if it had ever been in the price, but I'm trying to short it. So like now I'm just fighting a chart that's not really there. And I ended up breaking even on the Thursday on it. I think I might have made a little bit of money. And then I held position overnight, and I lost 4,000 pre-market, and the thing squeezed all the way up to $55. And then it came down, and then it really started to show me a tight range between $33 and $37. And then I just like, I was just ticking away, ticking away, ticking away, ticking away, ticking away, and then I covered most of my position at 17 bucks.
How much
So
money you make that day?
21,000. I made
21 G's.
Yeah. So and I made 15,000 just off of APT, and then 3 other stocks I had some decent winners. So
Yeah. So that's like the kind of like the craziest thing about trading. And I think kind of the most appealing part is the amount of money you can make in such a short amount of time. Like some people
yeah,
make $21,000 in a year and
yeah,
you can make it in a freaking day. Like I said before, even though I totally fucked this up, I was up around $80,000 in a day and I was hungover sleeping post aftermath from a strip club. So
yeah,
the struggle is fucking real.
yeah,
Uh, but it's yeah, it's crazy, and that's why a lot of people are interested because they see that and they're like, is this real, or like how? And it's all possible. It's just a matter of understanding a system and having the discipline to actually follow it and do
yeah,
it.
exactly.
So uh what has been kind of like the biggest change in your life so far since you started day trading, like compared to like what you're able to do? What are you able to do now that you couldn't do before due to the amount of freedom and income you're having from day trading? And also,
Honestly, I think.
what are you spending your money on?
Well, so that's the thing. I'm super conservative, so like I'm really not spending my money on much. Like
Or what are you investing in?
yeah. Well, right now I'm not investing in nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sitting liquid waiting.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I incurred some debt over like the year that I wasn't working and learning how to day trade. So like paying that off, just putting more money back in my bank account. And like I think the biggest thing that I was a people pleaser before. I wasn't a yes man by any means, but like, and by nature, I'm very like giving and like I'm willing to always put my best foot forward. But people would always kind of take advantage of that, and like, yeah, I enabled it, but now I think because trading is so like introvert by itself, it's actually like allowed me, being able to stay home and work allows me to like kind of avoid the noise, I think the most. And I've been able to help my little sister out with paying for her university. Um, I live in a sweet condo with a nice view, you know, drive decent cars, so,
Yeah.
um, I think, but for me, my biggest goal is I'm trying to move down to the States for at least 6 months a year. So my next big purchases are going to be more real estate down. So that's kind of what my goal right now is to work towards. Um, I don't really want, I don't like debt if I can't help it. So just buying stuff cash and then just creating more sources of residual income with the money that I'm making now. So.
Yeah. Where are you going to go in the States?
Um, Florida would be nice. I really like Nevada. Not to live on the strip or anything like that, but like,
Both are tax free as far
yeah,
as state
that's
income.
more. I'm not really like I'm not a Democrat whatsoever, so California's out for me. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm not Republican or anything either, but I don't vibe with that. So it's gonna be probably Florida or Nevada. The only other place I would probably consider is South Carolina, just because of how close it is to Florida.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just as beautiful. So just a
Yeah,
matter of
and no state income tax on both those states, and there's no sales tax in Nevada as well. So
yeah,
everybody's trying to avoid tax as much as possible. Why do you think I live in Bali, bro? I don't have to pay taxes
yeah,
on I don't pay taxes on my first 110,000 in income. I don't pay
yeah.
state income tax because my business is based in Florida, and
Hmm.
so it's all about conserving your capital and your cash flow. In California, I was not doing that. I had 3 cars, a boat, paying about 50% in taxes,
Yeah,
and everything was expensive as fuck.
yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. And yeah, you know what? I don't know when I'm gonna burn out. You know what I mean? Obviously, you started when you were 20. I'm pretty much hitting my stride when I'm 30. Um, So, I obviously just want to make as much as possible, and, kind of set myself like, this is probably one of the only jobs you can get that you can do for yourself, that you can set yourself up for life in a very short amount of time. So, um, that's more what I'm focused on, especially, like I said, being 30 years old. I'm not really materialistic anymore. I love nice clothes. I have a really crazy shoe collection. Um, but, that's probably the only things I really splurge on. The first time I drank was in Vegas for 14 months. So I'm not into partying as much anymore or anything like that.
Yeah.
So um,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
it's all. I mean, early 20s. It's just what you do. I was a fucking raging alcoholic party
oh yeah,
animal.
I know.
Doing.
I wasn't a raging alcoholic, but like I definitely liked to party when I was young.
uh,
But
I
yeah,
was,
I think life more is about experiences now, right? So
yeah,
my biggest
it's
thing
all a
is like,
learning experience.
yeah, and I don't want to make people jealous or anything, but I obviously, I just want to be able to experience what I want when I want. Um, a big thing for me is my teeth. And they've always kind of bothered me, and now I'm getting my braces, and then uh, after this COVID thing clears up, I'm going to go to Colombia and get my veneers. For me, that's like super. That's a big thing for me to actually be able to get done. I was always going to get braces, but now to like spend the extra money to get the veneers and not really have to worry about how much money I'm spending on getting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's going to be a big, super big thing for me. So
Yeah, I mean, like it's. I always tell people, money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy opportunity, and it does buy convenience. And
exactly, yeah,
when things
and
are a lot more,
security, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and when life is more convenient, it's less stressful. And really, the only thing I care about in my life is reducing stress, because stress is
yeah,
what makes you unhappy. Stress is what gives you lack of clarity, and it's just like the less amount of stress you can bring to your life. Uh, a lot of that can be done with money. Um,
yeah, exactly.
so, uh, so coming to a close here, what is your role at Iconic Traders, and what can you do to help our future students? And what would you tell them what would you tell somebody that's interested in day trading right now, but hasn't yet started, or they're failing currently?
Um, well, I actually just get this question all the time. So, I'm obviously the head of education at Iconic Traders. Uh, I think when you're starting out, one, don't rush into it, and two, you have to find the right system. So, um, and that's gonna take time. And the one thing you don't want to do is learn the wrong system, because if you I kind of like my buddy works at a car dealership, and he said to me one day he went to go apply at this other dealership. He thought the interview went well, called the guy back a couple of days later, and the guy says, "No, I can't hire you because your system doesn't fit into our system, and I'm not willing to retrain you to do that." He's like, "You're already too set in stone with what you've learned and your mannerism of how you sell. Now, you don't want to do that with trading. You need to, one, come in with a clear slate, clear mind, no bias, no anything. When I have students that come into try out, it's like, oh, I'm ready to short everything. Well, hey man, okay, so you're telling me you're giving up 50% of your opportunity right from the beginning. And they go, what do you mean? Everybody shorts. I'm like, okay, but I make 50 to 60% of my money longing stocks. So you telling me that I'm wrong? He's like, and they're like, oh, well, I didn't think about it that way, And
Yeah.
so you have to come in, one, unbiased, two, ready to learn, and three, with no ego. Um,
Yeah.
Stocks don't care about you. They don't have, they don't know who you are. They do have their own mannerisms, their own personalities, um, you know, and if you come in biased in any way, you're most likely going to get smoked. So don't be in a rush would be my first thing. First and foremost, learn first. Um, I do not recommend paper trading for a long period of time, but I do recommend paper trading to get to know the functionality of what what broker you're using, what software you're using, executions, routes, stuff like that. Because once you get the hang of that, then that just makes your life a lot easier when you start to trade. And then the other thing, and I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite, but don't drop $5,000 or $10,000 into your account and trade unless you're very, very, disciplined and conservative by nature. But start with 1,000, and your first month's goal should to be end the month with 1,000. That means you've made
Yeah.
enough money to pay your broker fees, and you've broken even, and you haven't lost any money.
Yeah, that's what I would say in my training. Like the step one is just survive. Like, right?
Yeah,
Surviving the market is a feat in itself,
yeah,
because the mass majority of people out there, literally, you guys, all day trading is an exchange of cash from people that know what they're doing versus people that don't know what they're doing.
don't know what they're
So,
doing.
so
Yes.
about 95% of the people out there don't know what they're doing, and they come in and they put their money in the market, and people over here in the 5% are just, oh, thank you. Thank you. You're
Yeah,
making the wrong decision. You're making the wrong decision. You're
yeah,
making the wrong decision. Either that, or it's two people making the wrong decision together. And then they
yeah,
just both give their money into the money pool. And then we're just, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
yeah,
you. And it's just a lack of knowledge and a lack of education and a lack of discipline is really all it boils down to. So basically, if you guys are interested in getting started in day trading, like Matt said, I've been day trading, or I am currently retired now. But I started in 2005, and I built a community, built a system, and built a program around getting started in day trading. That's exactly how Matt first initially found us, through my YouTube channel, and got started in the program. So basically, what that looks like, guys, is there's three different systems and three different programs that we teach. One is Fous 4, which is the original swing trading system. Next is Fous 4 Part 2, which is everything I know about day trading. Fous 4 Part 3, which we call the dark side of trading, which is actually making money when stocks go down. This is called shorting. Then we also have Cloud 9, which is everything about mindset. Just like I said before, learning Fous 4 1, 2, and 3. This is, yes, it's a system. It's something that works, but we also have Cloud 9, because if you don't have the mental capacity and discipline to implement Fous 4 1, 2, and 3, click, bind, sell when you actually need to, in the heat of a moment of a trade, when things are moving very quickly, your heart's pumping, your blood pressure is high, you have anxiety, and the stocks are moving quick. You're like, well, he sold, should I sell? Or I don't know. Like, right? It can be very fast paced, but understanding the mental capacity and mental discipline is the most important aspect. I think we're one of the only programs out there that actually has like a 7-hour course, just on mindset and
yeah,
and understanding that, because most people will be like, oh, learn this automated system or get my alerts or sell buy signals. Like, that doesn't mean fucking shit. Somebody's selling you that, they're selling you bullshit, because that's not how you
yeah.
successfully win in the market. And then we also have the live chat room, and we also have weekly mentor classes with Matt and other students as well. So if you guys are interested in the opportunity of day trading, it created a pretty crazy life in my 20s. Obviously, I did it for 14 years. I've moved on to more so just entrepreneurship, helping this company grow, helping Matt and helping my team continue the legacy and continue to help other people learn how to day trade. But we have a free training. It's about an hour long. If you're interested in getting started, there's going to be links below. Down here, you can go through that. We're going to teach you more about the opportunity, kind of what it takes, what it requires from you to become a day trader, and kind of what the benefits are of looking at this either as a career or even as a side hustle. We have a lot of people in the program who are currently students, people who also have day jobs. Like we said before, typically we trade for about 90 minutes or less. Like I said before, the most I ever made was about $9,000 in under 5 minutes. So time is not an issue for day trading. Time is the benefit that you get from day trading. And that's one of the biggest things, is being able to do it from anywhere in the world, and be able to make money in a little amount of time. The only thing is, you do have to put in a lot of work to be able to get that privilege, right? You have to earn the
Hmm.
right to become a day trader and earn the privilege of being able to do it successfully. So, like Matt said before, one of the biggest things is having patience. Don't rush it. A lot of people will see, like before, when I used to day trade, or see Matt post a $21,000 profit, and they're like, wow, like he just did that just today alone. Like, I want to do that today. Like, that's not going to happen. You have to put in the time and the work and the hustle and the discipline and the study before that happens. And that's exactly what we help and teach in our program, the Iconic Traders Accelerator, which is an 8-week program. So if you're interested in that, there is the link below to join our free training that's going to teach you more about the opportunity of becoming a day trader. So anyways, Matt, with that being said, guys, Matt's going to be posting a lot more content on this channel about kind of documenting his journey continually as a day trader and showing what he's up to, giving you guys continued education on his current trades, winning and losing, because equally are both important learning experiences that people have to learn.
100%.
So yeah, I'm excited to start posting more content on the trading channel, or the Cameron Fous original channel, because I think that's what the people want at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, like this is my life right now and for the foreseeable future. I actually get more enjoyment helping students out now than I do get from trading. I'm very much have turned trading into like a robotic type thing. Same schedule, same routine every day. I get in, I get out, and then the rest of my day consists of helping students. And I'm always doing something uh, within the chat room. Doing I do my 2 mentorships a week. Plus, I do study sessions on Sunday nights sometimes. Plus, recently since we've had this chaos in the market, I've been doing a lot more just like impromptu 20 to 30-minute sessions right after the sessions are done, just to make sure everybody is up to par with what is going on and what the expectation is. And I actually made a goal for the rest of this month that we can't have any account blowups in the chat room. And I've been pretty much on everybody every day about it to protect their money. So because right now this is the greatest opportunity I can say I've ever seen, but I think a lot of traders have ever seen, to really create something special. Um, and that's what I'm really focused on. I want to try to not just myself take advantage of it, but I want to see as many people take advantage of it as possible. So
yeah, I mean, you guys, I went through the 2008 market crash. My business died. My trading died. I thought it was the end of the world. But the fact is, every disaster, just like we're seeing now with coronavirus, and also the market dropping almost 30%, which is closing in on the biggest drop we've ever seen in the market. We just blew way past the 2008 market crash decline. Like crushed it, annihilated that drop. And with that came one of my greatest years of trading in early 2009. Everything was cheap. Bank of America was like $2. Everything became an opportunity. And that's all we have right now is an opportunity. And if you're an investor, like my mom's account is fucking getting absolutely crushed because it just dropped 30%. But for day traders, this is a huge, huge opportunity to get in the market. So yeah, coronavirus sucks. We're all stuck in our fucking houses. People are dying. And it's extremely sad. But you can either do nothing and just let fear sink in and let this shit take advantage of you, or you can look at it, okay, what can I do to not only be safe and protect myself and my family, but how can I ensure my future and my family's future financially by looking at opportunities that arise from disaster as well. And day trading the stock market, especially after we see a 30% decline in the Dow Jones and S&P, this is a big opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think the other thing too, I'm just going to say right now, don't come into this expecting to be a full-time day trader. You need to come into this, learn to be a part-time day trader, because you will naturally evolve into a full-time day trader. But I think, I preach this to a lot of people that ask me like, oh, can I do this with a full-time job? Absolutely, you can. There's no, there's no reason why you can't. So you definitely can. And if you can, I always ask people, if you can make an extra 100 to 200 to 250 a day, how much would that change your life? And when I say that to people, that would make a huge difference. I'd be able to have a little bit more money for my family or whatever. And if you can master the part-time, then you will become naturally a full-time day trader. So
yeah,
that's the expectation everybody should come in with. So
100%. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Matt, thanks for hopping on board here at the call. And
no problem.
anyways, guys, please like, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you thought of the podcast. If you're excited that the channel is back into the day trading game, the return of the Jedi, Matthew Sentes coming in hot to take over the channel. But anyways, guys, if you're interested in getting started with our program, the link's going to be below, and we'll see you in the free training and possibly in our program, the Iconic Traders Accelerator. Anyways, guys, we're out. Later, Matt.
Peace.